All right, we take you live now to our Abuja studios where Gloria Ume-Ezeoke is standing by. And hi there, Gloria. So it's the back and forth of whether or not to return to the classrooms for ASUU, right? You can hear me?
Well, thank you, Ijomado. I really can't hear you. But many thanks for joining us here live from Abuja. The Senate has appealed to striking lecturers in the country to return to work to prevent further devaluation of the country's educational fortune. The Senate also mandated its president, Senator David Mark, to meet with President Goodluck Jonathan and the Academic Staff Union of Universities with a view to bringing the strike to an end. Remained deserted since Monday, July 1st, 2013, following the industrial action by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Disturbed by the lingering situation, the Senate considered a motion on the crisis.
This is one strike too many, and that the entire education sector is grinding to a halt.
The Senate is further disturbed that after 4 months, the negotiations have not yielded any positive result.
The federal government also wrote a letter to ASUU in January 2012, that is after the suspension of the strike, resetting commitment to make available 100 billion and 400 billion on an annual basis thereafter. This letter, also referred to as Memorandum of Understanding, remains a subject of dispute between the two parties.
We must accept there was an agreement. Whether this agreement has gaps, quite a number of agreements that he has read out are agreements that ordinarily shouldn't have been something that anybody should have signed, but it was signed. Now, it is a moral duty for all of us to know that once an agreement is reached and signatures are appended, then that agreement becomes binding.
A former lecturer who is now a federal lawmaker blamed the government and union for mismanaging the situation.
Where else in the world do you pay a professor for graduate student supervision? Is that not why he's a professor? We also must tell ourselves, where else in the world do you say that the federal government must also be involved in the payment of state schools? On the one hand, we want federalism. On the other hand, we want the federal government to be the golden goose that lays every egg.
The position is obvious now. We can now see the consequences of their action. And I think if they extend it beyond this, then they'll begin to lose public sympathy. I would personally beg them, if that is the word that they think, will help them to get back to work. There is no winner, there is no loser in this exercise.
The Senate mandated its Committee on Education to continue its involvement in the negotiations for the resolution of the crisis. The Court of Appeal sitting in Port Harcourt, the River State capital, has set aside the Federal High Court's ruling affirming Nicholas Ukachukwu as the Anambra State PDP candidate. In its ruling today, the court ordered INEC to recognize Tony Nwoye as the duly elected candidate of the PDP in next month's governorship elections. The counsel to INEC, Mr. Tochukwu Nweke, says the commission will abide by the ruling of the Court of Appeal, adding that it had confirmed Mr. Ukachukwu based on the ruling of the Federal High Court.
Court now held that Tony Nwoye is the duly sponsored and nominated candidate of People's Democratic Party, that the lower court ought to not have removed his name or ordered for his name to be substituted. 2, on the issue of tax. The electoral guideline of People's Democratic Party, Article 14A, provides that you submit your tax clearance certificate or tax receipt or exemption paper. The appeal panel clarified these issues, and that was the reason why Tony Nwoye proceeded to contest the election.
There's something about the judgment that is interesting. Ukachukwu got a judgment in the lower court which asked INEC to take his name and put in the ballot, which asked PDP to send his name. This this judgment that was given now, they only said they dismissed the appeal. I'm sorry, man, they are not dismissed, please. That they allowed the appeal, and that Moye is the candidate of the PDP. There's no order on PDP to send his name. There's no order on INEC to take his name.
When INEC published Okachukwu's name, INEC did that in compliance with the judgment of the Federal High Court. Now today, the Court of Appeal set aside that judgment with all the orders, both interim and interlocutory. And the Court of Appeal went further to declare that Tony Moye is the PDP candidate for the Anambra governorship election coming up on 16th of November. INEC will comply with that judgment.
Well, realizing free, fair and credible elections in Nigeria should be the utmost priority of the public and not that of the Independent National Electoral Commission alone. To achieve this, the electoral body is calling on all patriotic Nigerians ahead of the 2015 general elections to contribute to the process. At a forum in Cross River State, the resident electoral commissioner, Mr. Mike Guinea, insists INEC has limited staff to monitor all polling units on election days.
Success of election lies squarely on the entire society. In fact, from all the places we have visited, whether in the US, whether in Ghana, whether even in Kenya of late, another part of the world, you'll find that the success or failure of election is a joint responsibility of the society entirely. Because INEC as a body has just about 12,000 staff. Meanwhile, for the elections, you are going to deploy well over 700,000 people. As a matter of fact, in Cross River State here, 18 local government, 193 RA, 2,283 polling units, we deploy well over 8,000 ad hoc staff for the implementation of election rules on the day of election. But how many are we? What is total staff strength of INEC in Cross River? We are just about 300.
The build-up to the Anambra State gubernatorial election has continued to pick up pace as the Ngige campaign team intensifies efforts to sway the electorate to its side. The All Progressives Congress flag-bearer, Senator Chris Ngige, made promises to party supporters and residents of Uyi local government area of Anambra State as his campaign tour berths at the province. The APC is also raising an alarm on purported attempt by some officials of the Independent National Electoral Commission to sabotage the conduct of the November 16 polls.
With the Anambra State governorship polls merely weeks away, the All Progressives Congress is ensuring that all nooks and crannies of the state hear about the party's promises. The Chris Ngige campaign train blazed through Uyi local government area, making stops at the Okuzu Junction and Inteja Central School Field.
Chris Ngige is the man that will move us forward. Chris Ngige is the man that will deliver every promises he will make about this campaign. So people of Uyi, I want you to take it and go home today. Now, you will get 5 more rows from Ngige.
Meanwhile, as Chris Ngige is leading the on-field campaign team and converting voters, another part of the APC machinery tasked with monitoring other activities surrounding the polls is raising alarm.
There's a systematic process of destroying our posters across the state. We are not bothered. This election of November 16 is about Anambra State. It's about our future. It's about this state, and we attach every importance to it. Any attempt to disenfranchise us or disenfranchise anybody, any attempt to frustrate us or frustrate anybody will be resisted.
But the State Commissioner of Information says these are false allegations.
Billboards that were mounted by our own governorship candidate, Willie Obiano, were pulled down. And we discovered they were mounted by individuals who want to assist the campaign of organization. So they didn't know the rules. They went and anywhere they find empty space, they put a billboard. We pulled them down. You see? And for any person to say I gave directives will be funny. The agency is an autonomous creation of law.
Denial or not, the Ngige campaign group says it still maintains confidence in INEC and other relevant agencies in conducting the free, peaceful and credible governorship elections in Anambra State.
And that's all from the FCT. Back to you, Ijoma.
All right, thanks a lot for that, Gloria.